Well, hey guys, happy Thursday. What an absolute honor. What a privilege. My partner in crime, Sammy Joe, is off conquering the world, doing fun and exciting things. She's not here with us today, but I am with the one, the only Miss Megan Militello. Megan, happy Thursday. How are you, my friend?
I am doing so good. It's great to be here. And I mean, we said it would be better in person, but you
It
know,
would be better in person. I was trying to add it up. Like we've done multiple lives. We were in the Alaska MEP office. We did it at the workshop. I've been in your office. We did one in Buffalo. I think we did one in. I think we've
the
done one.
co-working space.
Yes, we did
Yeah.
one. We did
Wow.
one. We did one virtually. We've done one now. I think we're flirting with like 5 or 6. So anyway, guys, my name's Curt Anderson. What an absolute honor to be here. We're here talking about the Alaska MEP Manufacturing Extension Partnership. And boy, what a privilege. This is like I'm like the proud uncle right now. So I you know what? I'm not embarrassed to say it. The love, the respect, the admiration I have for this young lady right here, and she is super modest, super humble. So Megan, go ahead and plug your ears because I'm going to talk about you for a minute. So we were just in Buffalo together at the National MEP conference, and every person that was in earshot, Megan, I would share this intro. Dude, you're a war hero, Army veteran, 2 tours in Iraq. Just, we applaud you, we salute you, we thank you for what you've done, the sacrifices that you made for our protection, our safety, for our beloved, amazing, incredible country. So we salute you for that. Thank you. And I know it wasn't easy, right? And we'll touch on that. You have an amazing, incredible TED Talk. Guys, if you listen to this first. When you get done, go to YouTube and you want to watch her TED Talk. Have a box of Kleenex next to you because either you're going to be in tears or you're going to be running through a wall. I did a little bit of both. I just ran through a wall crying, but it is such an amazing, and I'm a big TED Talk fan. I've listened to probably hundreds. And Megan, you are a rock star. You became, you were air control. You were in air control for a while, air traffic control. We can get into that. You then eventually became a fierce and incredible entrepreneur. And now we find you part of the Alaska MEP team. So that was a mouthful. Just a little bit with the folks. Let's hear your story, your background, and then we want to take a deep dive to this new exciting position that you have at the Alaska MEP.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Wow. That is it's a lot. I feel like I've done a lot of different things. I've lived so many different little chapters. Um, which has been so much fun because it's given me like this wealth of knowledge of such different things.
Yeah.
So yes, I was in the Army, air traffic controller, 2 deployments to Iraq. The airport that we were controlling at was the equivalent to Phoenix Airport. And I mean, we're like kids. Like when you see your military, it's a lot of young people, and I met my business partner there in Iraq the first time. We went back to Hawaii for 2 years and then deployed to the same place again and worked together again. And years had passed by. I went civilian air traffic control, worked for the DoD, worked in the FAA, moved between California and Hawaii a little bit.
Yep.
And my values were starting to change and I wanted to get into more of a family life. I quit my job. I moved onto the Big Island with my second husband and had over an acre of land and had more fruit than I knew what to do with. It was like such an amazing life.
Paradise, right?
Yeah. Oh, paradise. Exactly. It was paradise. Yeah. And ran an Airbnb. So that was kind of like this taste of entrepreneurship and having something of my own. And my second husband had some mental health issues that we just didn't know about. I ended up leaving and moving to Alaska in my dad's basement and just kind of like was like, wow, my whole life just changed. So then I got into the elevated oats. I wanted to help people become better people, really touching on mental health and getting outside, especially here in Alaska because it's cold and dark during half of our year. So 4 years later, we built this company and my business partner and I, Lacey, we came back together. She like created a logo. That was like the start of it. And then it turned into packaging and then it turned into brand everything and social media, everything. And she really, elevated the brand, right? Like our brand had such great recognition in the community, and she wasn't even in Alaska doing it, which was amazing. She was building this thing in Alaska, and I know how challenging that was and how challenging it was for us to have the time difference and how we work together, always being online with each other. So 4 years later, we did this Alaska Angel Conference, and it gave us a bird's eye view of our company and how we wanted to grow it. And ultimately, I didn't want to be a fundraiser, and it would take a lot of money to build it the way that we would want to build it, especially here in Alaska. And so, my dad, who is my number one supporter, mentor, everything, was like, you can always do something else. And like this is just your first thing. This is just your first thing. And as an entrepreneur, you're doing stuff and pivoting and changing all the time. And and it was kind of like the next day I talked to Lacey and we made the decision. It didn't take us like a lot of time to think about it. It was just like, wow, yeah, we really have given this our all, but there are a lot of challenges that we face. And so that transitioned me, right? Like, I closed that door and I was like, I'm just going to see what happens, because we were so visible on social media and had such a following with the brand that we have created, like with Elevated Oats. And I just kind of figured another opportunity would open. And I think it was only like a couple of weeks after announcing it, maybe a month, that someone I know that's on the MEP team, who is brand new on the MEP team, I didn't even know he was working. I don't even think I knew he was working there. He was like, hey, I just want to talk to you about what's going on. Like, I understand. And he is in business with his father. And so there's a lot of connection there for us. And he was like, hey, I just want to share this position that's opening up or that's open, and just check it out, And I was like, I don't want a job. I can't do a job right now, right? Like, I was so burnt out and I was just in a whole new identity thing again, like this has been my life now for 4 years. And I didn't think it was going to not be my life for 20, and then I discovered it was the MEP. I looked into the position. I was like, oh man, this is like what I was doing, but like really tackling the challenges. And then without 20 other hats, like I had way less responsibilities as a CEO of a startup company, a consumer packaged good company. So now I am the supply chain optimization manager at the MEP, and my whole goal, from what I gather, between the conference in Buffalo and the last, gosh, it's only been a month. Yeah. Today, like today, the 5th, 1 month it's been. My whole goal is to get us connected on a national supply chain and bring manufacturing back to America. And like, how can I support our Alaska supply chain? Strengthening, elevating our local supply chain, really, because I think that is huge for us. We're so away from everything else. It's not, we're not connected to the States. So we have unique challenges that we really need to think about in a different way.
Yeah. So, All right, man. Oh, this is so good. So, and by the way, for the record, when you and I were standing together in Buffalo, there was a couple women standing behind you, and you could tell like they were just like gawking and just admiring. And they came up and they were like, man, we just love your hair. And then I remember another person came up and she had seen you on a couple of our live streams, and she knew exactly. She goes, I know who that is. And so like, it was like, you're like people were actually like a little bit starstruck with you. I absolutely loved it. And again, being the proud uncle, because next to your dad, I'm your number 2 fan. You know that, right? I'm the vice president. Dad's the president. I'm the vice president of the Megan fan club. So Megan, let's go here. Like, so much to unpack. Again, like, if you guys are just joining us, war hero, 2 tours in Iraq, just she is just such an amazing force. You've lived multiple lifetimes in such a young stage in life. Talk a little bit about like your entrepreneurial journey, if you will, Okay. One thing with the military, it's what, like that consistency as a civil servant, the stable paycheck benefit, that, and I not to imply that, serving in Iraq was stable, right? But just, the stability there. You mentioned DOD, air traffic control, some of these other opportunities. Talk a little bit about like, what it was like, maybe like the shock of being an entrepreneur and how being that entrepreneur, how you're carrying that experience into the MEP.
Okay, great question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I really had to change my mindset on money.
Yeah. Right.
Number one, I had to completely rewire my brain and change my mindset on money because I quit that stable job where I had all the benefits. And the only thing I would say is working for the government, you did have like the shutdowns, like what we're kind of dealing with right now that you see in the media. That was always a thing. But we were essential,
no comparison to like entrepreneurship. Like if you don't hunt, you don't eat, right? I mean, barring like a shutdown or like something catastrophic, like, when you work, when you have my wife's a school teacher, when you have that civil servant job, like, it's reliable, it's dependable. The paycheck's going to be there. The benefits are going to be there, so you don't suffer that risk. You had up until that point, you had a career of like kind of that civil service financial security, if you will, if you're comfortable with me describing it that way. What were those 4 years like as like, like this is on me?
Okay, so my dad was my investor. Also.
Yeah.
We were not a profitable company.
Yeah.
So
you were a startup. It was
a startup.
And I came, so I'm here in the middle of nowhere in New York. You're in Alaska. Like we couldn't be further from each other, right? Unless I'm like in Florida or something. And I was in your, it's labor intensive. It's inventory, product,
inventory,
equipment, right? Like it is financial intensive running your business.
Starting it because you need to get that equipment, right? Yeah. And then we have a space that we're paying for. So we have all these overhead costs, and yet our sales aren't up to that because we also can't just like grow like that either.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was very, had to change my mindset on money. I had to really just be like, okay, I've got to ask for it. I've got to ask because I'm not making enough to pay for all the things that I'm doing to grow and to pay my people, right? And also, this was like right after COVID. Things have changed. You're not paying factory workers factory wages, like you're paying people higher wages too. So there's some unique ways that I've heard and seen other people approaching the workforce challenge. But of course, like when you're an entrepreneur and you're in it, you're just kind of in it. You're just doing all the stuff. And yeah, like you said, you're hunting. Like we were constantly shuffling, spinning the plates, going between each one, trying to get to the next thing. Okay, how do we do this? We're working long hours, startup, right? And it's like when you're the founders, like me and Lacey, we were just working all the time. We're working all the time, trying to figure out like, what's our next move? Okay, maybe if we do this thing, it'll get more people to see us, or maybe we can get these partnerships. And we made some really big connections and had some big thoughts like Alaska Airlines, right? Like we talked to Alaska Airlines. They're like, if you can get us 50,000 units a month. And we were like, we can't do that now with all the stuff that we've got, right? So it's like, okay, well, do we go to a co-packer and get something specific made that's cheaper, whatever? It's like, now we're making a whole new product, right? So good opportunities, but then balancing the things that you're doing and how you already kind of are growing and where you can pivot and where you can put that energy and the money, right? Like money is a whole big part of it. And manufacturing, you're paying for a lot, all that inventory up front. So yeah, it was a challenging 4 years. And everybody, when I tell them I'm an air traffic like I was an air traffic controller, they're like, oh my God, that's such a stressful job. And I was like, no, entrepreneurship was stressful more. This job that what I did was more stressful.
Right. Entrepreneurship, like
Period.
hands down, was like that's funny. That's a statement. So
Yeah.
now, the cool thing is when you walk in, now you're at the Alaska MEP. Again, guys, if you're just joining us, we're at the Alaska MEP Manufacturing Extension Partnership. Incredible, wonderful, powerful resource for manufacturers. If you're coming to us from outside of Alaska, there is an MEP near you. There's an MEP in all 50 states plus Puerto Rico. You are super blessed. You have an incredible team at the Alaska MEP in Alaska. Megan, when you walk into when you walk into a manufacturer or an entrepreneur, now it's not like, hey, you don't know what we're going through, like, theories, or maybe you're a civil servant, like, exactly what they're going through, right? Their pain, their challenges. So let's, like, when you walk in the door, and again, like, you're celebrating your 1 month anniversary, but just like your goals, your expectations, what you're excited about, let's go through that process of you engaging with manufacturers.
Okay. Well, I went to something last night because right now Alaska is having their startup week, right? And so we had this little gathering of entrepreneurs, and I saw Jen from Alpine Fit there, and we were talking about my new role and all my goals and what I want to do. And I think that just me having been in it, being in the trenches with these people, it gives this trust. It's kind of like a veteran thing, right? It's like you're a veteran. You're a veteran of this entrepreneur startup situation. Like, you do know a little bit. Like, and this is where it's the building the relationships. And it's like, I know, we always kind of give this broad thing, how can we help you? And it's hard for an entrepreneur in this situation. Like, I understand. I've been there. And so I think that coming into the MEP and being like, we can definitely do these key things, right? And then understanding them on a different level and just understand what they need, right? And how can we accommodate? Something that I really learned in Buffalo is like, we have to create, like, we can be really innovative and creative with how we're helping these manufacturers.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have opportunities to we have to just think of things in a different way, especially with us being out here in Alaska, where things are a lot smaller. Not as many people are doing as much stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so what I admired, and I had the honor working with Lacey, and that was a couple of years ago, right? And so, it was like, I don't know, thick of COVID, but we were definitely in COVID. You guys, we were connected through the Alaska MEP. I work closely with Lacey. You have amazing partners. So Lacey, you're out there sending you tons of love and everything that you've done. Just respect and admiration for what you guys did together as a team. But you guys had to be super scrappy, right? Like, you had to be super scrappy to try to get things off the ground. How, like, when you're working with these manufacturers, let's talk a little bit about that scrappiness of, like, how can you apply that to, like, dig into, roll up your sleeves and get into some of these supply chain solutions from that aspect.
Yeah, I'm really trying to see what the whole ecosystem looks like right now. And that's like part of the main goal, right? I have this really big goal that's like, how do we connect us on a big local level or even the national level? Because now we have this supplier scouting thing going on. And then BABA, you're familiar with BABA, Build America, Buy America?
I'm not. Let's go there. Why don't you explain to everybody what that is?
Okay. It is don't quote me.
Yeah.
I believe it is a policy that was put out to where certain things that are built here, like our infrastructure and stuff like that, we need to have at least 80% of the things built in America. Like, we're trying to bring manufacturing back.
Yeah.
So we can be making these things ourselves. And so what the MEP now has is this supplier scouting where we are connected. Each center is connected. Like you said, we have centers in 50 states. And I would be like, okay, we need these, like, I have a manufacturer that needs this part. Maybe it's a little gear or something. And I can put all the specs into this system. And this is just my responsibility in this new role. So I'm putting all the specs in. I'm like, okay, this is what we need. Send it out. We have 1 month for all the centers to kind of go in here, look, and be like, hey, I've got someone that can make exactly that match. Or, hey, I've got someone that's a partial match. And then you'll get a list of all the places that can accommodate. And then we can connect these manufacturers and suppliers on now this local level, and whether that's even giving them a second contact just in case something happens with the first one, like we have those backups in place. So I think that now I'm kind of like with this scrappiness, right? I'm like, okay, who are the people? I need to meet the people that are the players, who's making things in Alaska, who are the people that we need to get them. I need to get a whole database kind of happening so we know what we are capable of.
Right. I love that. And think about this, guys, as entrepreneurs, to have somebody that you can trust, to have that brand ambassador, those brand advocates that, you're going to be out there scouting. How nice would it be, somebody calls you up and, hey, Megan, this company needs, 1,000 bags of, elevated oats. You're coming in like, you're going to be scouting and looking for these opportunities. Like, hey, you guys have that certain machinery. You make these certain types of widgets. Did you know that down in the Dakotas that they need that widget and they can't find anybody? Like, right. These are the opportunities that you're almost playing a little bit of a matchmaker, right?
Yes. Which I like because I like connecting and I like helping. Right. And so it's like helping these different entrepreneurs. How can we benefit and get you new contacts and connections? And yeah, it's very exciting. I feel like this job is like this nice blend of challenge, excitement, and yeah.
Hey, how about this, man? Our friend Candy, happy Thursday, happy Friday Eve, man. Sending tons of love to my friend Candy. I have a supply chain problem. A wholesaler backed out because the cost of shipping from Alaska. They're in Massachusetts. Is there a 3PL that can help me with shipping wholesale affordability? How about this, man? Megan, you need to reach out. How about we get on a call with Candy and have that conversation? How's that sound?
No, I think that's great because also what I'm doing right now, I don't have the exact solutions. I could probably recommend a few different companies. But I am in the works of talking to all the different logistic companies as well to see what we can do. And that's something that we've been talking to like legislators and stuff about is, we're sending back containers that are empty. Now, this isn't coming up, so this is just a little bit of a different challenge, but it's like, how can we reduce those costs, right? Or what are those 3PLs that are consolidating and shipping stuff up? And Candy, I don't know. Yeah, I would recommend a freight forwarder of some type. Like I've used Carlisle. I know that there's several other companies that will transport stuff up. Maybe you just need to have it shipped somewhere that they're at, like in Washington or something. And then it gets forwarded up here to your address.
Absolutely. And so, and I know we're going to talk about Wesleyan in a second, but let's go here. And what I love is, Megan, when you were an entrepreneur, like every entrepreneur I've ever met, I've ever encountered I have one word, dreamers, right? I've never met an entrepreneur that started a business that was half empty or expecting to fail. You know what I mean? Like you go into business expecting, not necessarily to be the next, whatever, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, whatever, but like everybody goes into it because you know why? You have a belief in yourself. You have a belief in your idea. You have a belief in your solution. Candy has an amazing, incredible, wonderful solution. And so, and a lot of times you're solving your own problem, right? Let's go here. What I love to call the MEP is this. You guys are dream supporters. You are dream supporters. You're coming in, helping the Candies of the world, all the entrepreneurs of the world, Don, Daisy, everybody that we've connected, Lynn, all of our friends, from Swoop and everybody that's just doing amazing, Stacy at GC Handrails, all sorts of incredible entrepreneurs in Alaska. And for any entrepreneur out there, how excited are you to be that dream supporter, to come in and just kind of lift up your clients?
Okay, well, let's just say being an entrepreneur, a dreamer, and then you're seeing these problems that you want to solve. And now I feel like I'm in a different position where I get to solve some of those problems that I was facing, right? And that I can help these other entrepreneurs support them in their dreams because how can we? It's a big lofty goal, right? It's a big lofty goal to really have everything kind of made here in America, but like, How cool would that be?
Put it out there in the
Yeah.
universe, right? Let's hear
Yeah.
it.
How cool would that be? Why not? Like, why not have it be like that? We are capable of some really amazing things. And so I think that we need big dreamers right now, like to be coming up with these really big ideas that can support our economy in different ways.
Right.
Yeah. So I can't wait to see the things that come up. I also too, Curt, I gotta say, like, I love supporting entrepreneurship programs that like support kids. So
Yeah.
have you heard of Junior Achievement?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, love Junior Achievement. I love volunteering for them. I like doing like fourth grade where they like have a business
Yeah.
and stuff. One of the sessions is all about supply chain. And it's so all of these things, I'm like, yes, how do we feed our youth? Because we have to bring up people that want to solve these problems,
Right.
you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, all right. So let's go here. I know we're coming into time. So a couple of things. You have an incredible team. So I'm going to give a shout out. I'm throwing a lot of love out there today, but Dr. Alyssa, Sammy Joe, Kasim, you mentioned earlier, Bentley, we've got Peyton. So you guys have a really, you've really muscled up. You started with a very small team of 2. Now you guys have muscled up. You've got Wesleyan is coming to town next week. Our dear mutual friend, Wesleyan Whitaker. She's a sales guru. You want to mention the sales program that's going on next week?
Yeah. So on Tuesday and Wednesday, I believe that's the 10th and the 11th, Wesleyan is going to be out. She's doing a whole sales boot camp. It's really about changing your mindset about it because I know that I struggled with this as an entrepreneur. Man, when I first came into it, I was like, I don't know if it's good enough, right? And Curt, you have to be a believer. You have to believe in yourself and your product and that you're coming in to solve and change these things. And right. So we heard Wesleyan in Buffalo and wow, like she just is amazing. She's absolutely amazing. And that was only 1 hour I got to hear her, right? This is 2 days, like a 2-day thing. I think she's going to touch on direct messaging and definitely the mindset. But I mean, sales just need to be approached a little bit differently sometimes. And so having this perspective, I think is going to be extremely valuable.
Yeah, she's priceless. And just,
Yeah.
what a blessing. She's a dear friend. And just how awesome is this? Candy, drop another note here again. It's outgoing from me to the buyer. And so, and that's the thing. That's a big challenge for our friends in Alaska. How do we how do you get the product raw material, all the way up to Alaska? Then how do we get back to the lower 48? So, these are challenges that you had to face. It'd be wonderful. You and Candy get together, geek out on a conversation, hit those.
Oh, this is perfect. Yeah, this is exactly the thing that we are trying to figure out how to reduce those costs so that we can, yes. Candy, let's get together.
All right. So, man, that's just magic between you two. So, all right, Megan, let's wind down. And so, again, my respect and admiration for you. How about parting thoughts, words of wisdom, things that you want to share with folks as we just kind of close out your new role? Just congratulations. We're so excited for you at the Alaska MEP. What are words of wisdom that you want to leave everybody with today?
Oh, man, that's a lot. Well, there's a couple things. I love like little quotes and phrases that really change. It could just be like, ooh. So one that I have heard that I really like is closed mouths don't get fed. Closed mouths don't get fed. So this is where we have to ask those questions like Candy, right? Coming in and letting us know what a problem is. And now we can connect and talk about it and try to fix it. But if you don't ask, like you got to ask. You got to ask for help. And I've heard from a lot of different entrepreneurs that's been a challenge. And then once I think people get over it, then you start kind of really getting into the groove of just like realizing how many opportunities there are out there, how many organizations, how many different people want to help you elevate your business, right? So I think those would be my parting words. And if you're a manufacturer in Alaska and you're making something or you have a cool idea to make something, right? Like that big dream idea, let's figure out how we can make it happen.
Making magic at the Alaska MEP. So, all right, guys, we're going to close out. Hey, Bentley, dude, I agree with you 100, mic drop moment right there. Closed mouths don't get fed. So, guys, we've got to stop being the best kept secret and just, boy, exhaust your superpowers. Connect with Bentley, our friend here, all the team at the Alaska MEP. As we mentioned previously, tons of love and admiration to our friends. Megan, you had me at hello, my friend. You have my entire heart, and just, boy, I can't wait till you and I are back in person together. It's just we've become fast friends, and I'm just rooting you on for massive success. And so thank you for taking time to share your passion, your journey, your expertise. And thank you for joining the Alaska MEP, because the Alaskan manufacturers are very blessed to have you. So, guys, we're going to close out. Have an amazing, incredible, wonderful week. It's Manufacturing Month. Tomorrow is Manufacturing Day. So get out there and thank your favorite manufacturer. Give them a high five, a hug, whatever it takes. And again, reach out to our friends at the Alaska MEP. Reach out to Megan. You connect with her on LinkedIn at the Alaska MEP website, and she is here to help. So, guys, have an awesome day, and we will see you soon. Thanks.